Welcome to the Hills Youth Podcast Halloween Special. Tonight will be filled with thrills, chills, and terrifying accounts that you will never forget.
Bryce, I'm too scared.
You're too scared?
Can you take the mask off? Thank you. All right, guys. This episode is amazing. We're going to be talking about Scripture and Halloween. And little did you know, Halloween has a big part in Christianity. Just stay tuned, guys.
You won't want to miss it.
And happy Halloween, everybody. It is spooky season. I feel like we just lost our one follower that was just on. Did they say Halloween? Pastor Jeff knows. He's going to talk about that. That word Halloween is dangerous. But I'm glad you joined the podcast, probably for interest. Like, they're talking Halloween. They're Jesus followers. What does that mean? You probably heard that spooky sound. What is happening? It's probably the Holy Spirit. All right, who knows?
Not the Holy Ghost.
Not
the
the
Holy Ghost is a
the Holy
confusing
Ghost.
statement.
Oh my gosh, this is chock full of good stuff that we're gonna be talking about. But
learn a lot.
we're gonna do our introduction because you're probably wondering, is that Andrew Garfield? I don't know.
That'd be a big
My
poll.
name's Peter, bro.
Listen, it might be a reveal for the masses. Who knows? And I want you
We're
to
teasing
give it up.
something big's coming on. Come on, guys.
Something big. Okay, but on the far end over here, Zeke was just put into a mental asylum. It's kind of crazy. He lost his mind, and he's not behind the scenes right now whatsoever. That would means he escaped. Spooky. So give it up for Bryce Sandoval, everybody.
What's up, guys? I'm back.
Woo!
I can't clap good because I'm holding this drink.
And right next to Bryce, hold on, who is that? Is that the Amazing Spider-Man?
In the flesh.
In the flesh. What an honor it is. Hey, I want to ask you, why couldn't you save your girlfriend?
Listen,
Just right to it. We're just ripping it off like a Band-Aid. Why are you so
Sometimes-
bad at heroing?
sometimes people grow apart. And me and Gwen had relationship issues, and I wasn't putting in the effort anymore.
So you killed
So
her?
you murdered her? You were like,
I just
I
didn't
don't want to
save
have the
her,
hard
okay?
conversation and break
Better
up.
break
I'm
her
gonna let her
spine.
die.
Look,
That's
I
wild.
pretended to be really, really sad at her grave for a long time, so it kind of works, you know?
So
That makes Bryce's weird. We dated, but we didn't date for 3 months thing so much better.
and
Wow.
I hope we get that in the podcast too, because that's kind of hilarious.
Oh
Bryce
my
had a
gosh.
funny story. So I have a question. When you met the other Peter Parkers and you saved MJ, what was your whole deal there? Why did you save her?
Because my dear friend Peter 1, I believe, he did not have relationship issues, and so I wanted to let him wipe her mind instead of like her dying and then they break up, you know?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sounds like you don't know what you're talking about. But hey, right next to me, actually, no, I feel like you're not the real Andrew Garfield Spider-Man. I feel like you're not who you say. I feel like you're not Peter Parker. Who is that?
I don't know who Andrew Garfield is. I'm Peter Parker, the Amazing Spider-Man, and there's no debate.
I don't know.
There's
You
no
need
debate.
you need to reveal yourself right now. You need to tell. I'm so nervous. Is this really Peter Parker?
Oh boy,
Is
the suspense is killing me.
this is guys? I don't know. This is crazy. If you are not who you say you are.
Farmington needed a hero, okay? I stepped up.
Oh my gosh, Mayor Duckett. Oh, Graham. Oh, imagine. Oh my gosh. It is Graham, everybody. Give it up for Graham in the chat. I was like, what happened to Graham? We got Peter
It's
Parker.
a crazy week, man.
Sorry. In Andrew Garfield, I called you that. You kind of just resembled the voice. I apologize.
That's
That's
a
my fault.
question, like a Spider-Man related question.
Yeah.
For you guys, who is the best of
This
the
is a
three
great
Spider-Man?
Oh, boy.
I like Andrew Garfield, Spider-Man. And then I will listen, I grew up with the Tobey Maguire, but I feel like in this order of comic book, I feel like, well, not comic book, sorry. Andrew Garfield, then Tom Holland, then Tobey Maguire.
So
Okay.
this isn't mine, but I saw this and I agree completely. As far as comic book accuracy, Tobey Maguire is objectively the best Peter Parker. He's an actual nerd. Like he gets like you're really telling me like you couldn't convince me that Andrew Garfield or Tom Holland ever got bullied.
Tobey
You know what I mean?
Maguire was in his last year of college in all of his movies.
Yeah, but still, he got bullied and he was a nerd. Andrew Garfield's the best Spider-Man. He's actually funny. He like there's a lot of quips, a lot of jokes. He's like an entertaining figure to watch. And then Tom Holland's the best blend of both.
Okay.
So you have, like Tom Holland, I feel like is the most enjoyable Spider-Man, like as a movie, because it has a good blend and it's an entertaining plot and everything, and he does a good job of maintaining that balance between Peter and Spider-Man.
I agree with that. Tom Holland's my favorite. I'll stand by that because he was my childhood. I didn't really grow up on the Tobey Maguire ones. I didn't watch the Tobey Maguire or Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movies till I was 13 years old.
Whoa,
Were you not allowed
big
to?
deal.
No, I just
Too much
had
caffeine.
I just had the Tom Holland Spider-Man, so I didn't really feel the need to watch the other ones.
Makes no sense. What about you? Hold on. I'm gonna
Makes no
intro.
sense.
And ladies and gentlemen, for the first time ever, the most anticipated, Bryce's biggest anticipated guest. He says you're his favorite pastor, and he's been very excited, itching at the bit to see you.
I should probably stop making fun of him.
And I need you guys to make sure to give a huge round of applause emoji in the comments, and everybody to welcome to the Hills Youth Podcast for the first time. Everybody, Pastor Jeff Huisjen, everybody, come on.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here. It'll be fun.
It's going to be fun. And we want to know what's funner is your Spider-Man in the correct order that it needs to go.
So I've put a lot of thought into this
Okay.
because I feel that objectively, the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies are the best movies because of budget and when they came out and technology and all that.
Couldn't agree more.
I have always said that for me, Tobey Maguire is the best Peter Parker, the worst Spider-Man. Apart from the fact that I agree with Pastor Vaughn, he's old. He's too old for the movies.
Too old.
Like, if you want to get into that, then Tom Holland makes the most sense. I think Andrew Garfield suffers because the movies were objectively the worst
Because of
of the three
graphics and
sets.
stuff?
Like, they just weren't well done.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I completely agree with that.
You know what? I know you agree with that because it's Pastor Jeff and you agree to everything he says, young man.
Listen, all I'm saying is, I've known you for too long to agree with you, Vaughn. I've seen the insides of this ministry. I'm just kidding. It's a great ministry. I've
Listen.
been here for 6 years. I'm not going anywhere.
You're giving off I still trick or treat at 18 years old vibes right now.
Yeah,
Well,
if you
good
can
thing I'm
drive,
17.
don't pull up to my house asking for candy.
I can't drive, so we're chilling.
Like, that's my rule. If you
I'm
drive
grounded
up
right
to
now.
my
We're
house and get out of your own car and come to my door, you don't get candy.
Listen, I have a rule of thumb. I get the king sized candies and then I get the small candies. The kids, like I could try to figure it out, but under 10 years old, they get the king sized, and the older kids get the smaller candy.
That's real. That's
Yep.
real.
And of course, the little kid, if they have a sibling, they're gonna get beat up afterwards and lose it probably. But you give that kid a king size candy, the most memorable thing ever, right? So yeah, that's kind of what we do. Halloween's a big deal in my house. So I want to know, kind of like a spooky food combination. Like, what is something that maybe like it looks terrible, but like it's actually really good? And I was thinking the other day because I was using Greek yogurt on my tacos. So instead of sour cream, I put the Greek yogurt on it. Healthier option, but you're thinking Greek yogurt, but it like if you never had it, it's plain Greek yogurt, but it's good protein, and you put that on tacos instead of actual sour cream. That's just my thing, but that's kind of spooky. I don't know. What about you guys? Don't judge me. I know you're the foodie,
No,
bro.
I'm on board with that because I have always felt that Greek yogurt is so close to sour cream.
Yes.
Like, how can I sit down and eat a big bowl of Greek yogurt, but I put
Facts.
extra sour cream on my taco? I'm like, I'm
Thank you.
gross.
Yeah.
I'm gross.
Do you know what I mean?
I just ate a whole tub of sour cream.
It's that's
my
basically
food.
what you do. You sit down and
Right.
eat plain Greek yogurt.
That's
Like,
true.
it's just thick old sour cream.
Thank you. I actually feel really good, and I'm not going to be judged on this podcast. You two, though, on the other hand, yeah, you guys got problems. And
Never
you-
had Greek yogurt actually.
You know, I'm a big
What?
mayonnaise and Sour Patch Kids guy.
Is
So
this real?
that's serious. So
What does that mean?
I want you guys. So just take your Sour Patch Kids with a side of mayonnaise, dip it in. Sour Patch Kids me.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
So we don't have mayo though.
That crap out of here.
Okay.
Dude, you can't keep throwing it to Jeff.
Oh.
All right.
Anyways, if anybody DMs me a video of them eating a pack of Sour Patch Kids like this in mayo, they dip it in mayo. It just has to be one Sour Patch Kids, and trying it because it's the greatest combination ever. I will purchase you free concession on a Wednesday or Sunday night.
Ooh, I love that. I thought you were about to say, and I'll barf.
No.
I'll buy
I will
concession.
buy you concession 100%. I just
Mayo?
have to see the Sour Patch Kids in the mayo.
That's disgusting.
That
It's
does,
so
that
good.
sounds so gross.
Okay.
I've never had that in my life.
Like
but you should try
I
it.
like mayo, but on a candy?
It's
I've never
disgusting.
had that in my life. I'm sure it's terrible.
Oh,
But try it. Get free concession.
Now I do want to know.
now I kind of.
Oh, dang it.
Let's see if we met any middle school.
No, we're leaving the
I
mayo
would,
out of
I
this.
would try it right now on this podcast with everyone.
Oh my God.
All right, let's get it.
How many mayo packets are we going to throw a gram deflecting?
I will not be trying it.
All right,
no, you
Bryce.
have to.
Okay,
What is yours?
so this one I was so skeptical over, but it's Oreos wrapped in bacon.
Okay.
I
That's
never-
a good one, actually.
David Shute, back when he was here,
Shute.
he was my life group leader. He would make those for us, and the first time he brought them in, I had no desire to try it. I was like, why would you wrap an Oreo in bacon? Like, what? Who in the world?
You don't
would
think that
of
sounded good?
I didn't think it sounded good. Like the sweet cookie with like the savory, salty.
Sweet and salty is like a classic.
Yeah,
food
but like
combination.
bacon, but like
He was saying
bacon
it out
though.
loud.
I feel it. Like I know what you're thinking. Like
Yeah.
at first it sounds bad, and now I'm thinking about it. Like I've never had that, but that's kind of sounds like it would be good though.
But
good.
when
Like,
I
you have to
tried
think
it,
about it.
when I tried it, oh my gosh, guys! Like it was one of the best things I've ever eaten. I think I ate like 6 of them. It was so good.
Okay, Bryce, I want to know what do you think is the weirdest thing you've ever ate then?
The weirdest thing I've ever
Or you just
ate.
And I bet
never
it's not weird.
considered sweet and
I
salty
know,
together or
that's-
had Greek yogurt.
I've
what
never
is
had Greek
weird?
yogurt.
I know.
I
Uh,
want
Let
to
me
know
see.
now. What is
Weirdest
weird
thing
to
that I've
you?
ever eaten.
Salad.
No. I don't know what I've eaten that's been weird.
You come off as like a on Thanksgiving, I don't like eating turkey type of guy.
Oh, I love turkey.
Okay, good.
My girlfriend hates turkey though.
That's
I'm
what
like,
You said
why-
she hates Thanksgiving.
She hates Thanksgiving food. I'm like,
She
Oh,
just hate
Thanksgiving
being
food.
like
thankful in
Thanksgiving
America?
food. She doesn't really care for Thanksgiving. I'm like,
Damn,
Because
that's
of the
tough.
food?
weird. I don't know.
I mean,
Just
that is like the main
sentiment
selling
of being
point.
thankful.
That
I
is the
mean,
main selling point of the holidays.
it kinda
the food.
is.
As
It's the
much as we
food.
want to say being thankful is, like, let's be real. When you think Thanksgiving, you don't think I'm so grateful for the people in my life.
I mean,
You
we
think
we
turkey and ham,
we
you know?
run really fast. Like we run really fast past like the oppression and
Yeah,
indigenous
100%.
peoples and
100%.
crimes, and then we're like, oh, turkey.
Turkey.
Well, I think Pastor Jeff has a
I'm
little ill
Trail of
will
Tears.
towards it because he's a Lions fan and he has to have the most depressing Thanksgiving for the past like how many years of your life?
Not this year.
I
Not
watched
this
the-
year.
Not this year.
Hopefully not.
I
Fingers
watched the
crossed.
dog show, man. I
Fingers
watched the dog
crossed.
show
Everybody
on
in the nation is
Thanksgiving.
rooting for the Lions right
Just
now.
sitting there with your plate of unseasoned turkey, watching the dog show.
Hey, we put chili on our turkey.
Hey, calm down, guys.
Okay,
He has
that's good.
salt on it. All right.
All right.
Maybe some pepper.
Pastor
if he's
Jeff,
feeling
what is
spicy.
your weird food comment? And I'm sure you have a lot of good ones, but like what comes to mind? And I know you want to drop like a really cool one for us to try, but
I mean, the first thing I'll say, and I'm pretty passionate about this, and it's not weird, but it is something I'm passionate about, and I think I've talked to all of you about it, is Reese's Puff cereal is not good.
okay, that's
If
right.
you want chocolate and peanut butter cereal, you take Cocoa Puffs and you mix them with peanut butter Captain Crunch. And it is a better texture, it is a better mouthfeel, and you get a customizable ratio of chocolate to peanut butter.
a customizable
Yeah.
ratio.
I want more peanut butter than chocolate.
What would you name it?
Just better Reese's Puffs.
With the space on
Reese's
it?
Puffs that don't suck.
Better Reese's Puffs.
with like a rainbow logo, like
Um,
with the dolphin jumping?
Maybe.
okay.
They're that good. No, food combinations. I think one that I've had that people have told me is really good that I did not enjoy actually does involve mayo. It's a peanut butter and mayo sandwich.
Ooh.
Do not like. It was
It sounds terrible.
That
was
sounds
weird.
horrible.
Didn't like it.
Mustard, just a mustard mayo?
Hmm?
What did you say?
Peanut butter and
Oh,
mayonnaise.
peanut butter mayo. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Got you.
I've never been a huge fan of like the Elvis style, like peanut butter, banana, pickle, like all that stuff.
Stop it.
Not really my vibe.
That's good stuff, and you're missing out. You are missing out on
I'm
it.
not a huge pickle fan. I like pickled onions.
Kind of agree with you.
Okay.
Kind of there. I see people drinking pickle juice. It's kind of insane to me.
It's so.
So I want to know
Alright, man.
something. So I want you to pitch. You're very passionate about these Reese's Puffs. Sorry, excuse me.
Reese's.
The oh gosh,
Not Reese's.
I know.
Oh,
gosh, dang it.
Reese's is a name. The apostrophe S denotes ownership.
Reese's. Oh Lord, I'm in the doghouse now. But I want you to do a commercial with that cereal and plug Hills Youth Podcast in it together. Why people should eat that cereal and watch the Hills Youth Podcast. I'm gonna play a little lo-fi beat into my microphone.
Why people should eat that cereal.
And watch the Hills Youth Podcast. And you got to make it up, and we're gonna make a commercial.
All right.
You got to go to the beat here, okay? So I'm gonna put you on the
I got you.
spot here. Let's see what beat we got. Let's see. Can we hear this beat? Is it? Oh, it's my laptop's not. There we go. Yep. Can you hear that beat?
I can. I don't know. Yes, now I can.
All right, there you go. Make the commercial to this beat, Pastor Jeff.
All right. Do you feel like you're settling for less in your life? Do you feel like there's something missing? You wake up in the morning and you just don't know what you have to look forward to. You look in your cabinet. Reese's Puffs again. Do your parents even love you? I don't think so. So here's what I'm going to pitch. You go to the store. You take your dad's credit card. You go to the store. You get yourself some peanut butter Captain Crunch, some Cocoa Puffs. You mix them together. It's going to change your life. You know what else will change your life? You know what else will be better? Make your life better? You won't be settling for less with all your other weird, if you're a woman, true crime podcasts. Hills Youth Podcast. It's going to change your life. I promise. Don't settle for less. Get those Reese's Puffs out of there. Get Hills Podcast on. Hills Youth Podcast on.
Yeah, come on with it, ladies and gentlemen. And that's brilliant, Pastor Jeff. Just the brilliancy of that commercial. It was probably going to be a award-winning commercial in our podcast award show. We're probably going to drop next year. To all of our guests that have been on, best guest goes to.
We should do that. That'd be fire.
That'd be fire. G, did you get it?
So the mayonnaise that was down there expired in July.
Yeah, let's not touch that.
None over there, so.
Disclaimer: we did just throw it away. We're not going to sell that to any of the youth in the ministry. Okay, here we go. What you guys came for is Halloween, spooky season. Is it biblical? Is it unbiblical? Does God like Halloween? These are the questions that are up in the air. Can I watch scary movies? Can I not watch scary movies? A lot of these things are kind of like interesting topics. Like, should you drink? Should you not drink? Like, some of these things aren't going to be causing like I'm going to go to hell if I watch a Michael Myers movie. These are a lot of questions, and we want to try to get to them. And I really do hope this is something that you share with a friend. Send to somebody, create a conversation, thoughts. And a lot of these are hot topic points that we feel that what we read scripture is what we get. And we're going to go down to the history and roots of Christianity, which I encourage, and I really, really highly encourage every follower of Jesus. Go look at the roots of why this is where it's at today, how we got here, who's been before you. And that's super important. If we don't look at that stuff, I think we're kind of whack for not doing that. So I pulled out a 90s term there, but I want to encourage us in this conversation, really lean into it, get in the scripture and understand the history of Halloween, of this holiday. And we're going to start with some conversation off of this topic, horror movies. And so maybe you've been to a sleepover and you're that friend that went to someone's house and you're not allowed to watch them. And you ended up putting it on and you watched your first scary movie. Do you guys remember your first scary movie experience? Because those are memorable. Everyone talks about like a sleepover or just like, hey, my friends and I went to the movie theater and we saw this. What was your first time watching a horror movie or scary movie?
I don't know if it counts because I don't personally think it's a scary movie, but the first one I remember watching that was even like remotely Halloween themed was the movie Gremlins.
Okay.
And again, I would say like not terribly scary, but I did actually watch it at a friend's birthday party sleepover. And I remember as a kid, and I don't remember how old we were, like he was like, "Ooh, let's watch Gremlins." And I remember sitting there being like, "Would my parents want me to watch this?" And I think the answer was no. And I didn't say anything, and I watched it, and I like really enjoyed it.
Yeah. and you went and told your parents.
Nope. Mom, if you watch this, I'm a good kid. No, I wasn't. I was pretty bad.
No, I hear that and I respect that because a lot of these conversations, we're not telling you to lie to your parents. This is our stories. This is our experience. And we all have experiences watching them because it's one of those things where like, if you shouldn't watch it or you're told not to watch it, don't. But if you're in a situation, it's kind of funny to look at it for us because we've been there. But for me, and you guys will get yours too, is the movie 8-Legged Freaks is a spider, like giant spiders. And man, this is like, I told you not to watch it type of movie. But what was interesting about this movie is it literally, you think about giant spider. Who hates spiders? Like, I can't stand them. But I watched this movie and I actually enjoyed it. That night, you're sleeping in Grandma's house, and Grandma's house always has the weirdest creaky noises that possibly could ever
real.
be.
That's real.
And there was a literal spider on the roof. Okay. And in this moment, I told my mom, like, this spider, we're in Montana, so they got some big spiders, and the spider just goes across the roof. And I'm telling my mom, there's a spider on the roof, and it was big. And she literally, I went to her room and said, Mom, there's a spider on the roof. She said, I told you not to watch the movie. Go to bed and don't bother me. Literally, it's one of those moments where, like, literally, if this spider eats me.
Then you come back to your room and it's gone, and you're just like,
dude, there was a spider, but she's like, no, I don't believe you. You watched that movie, and I deserved every second of that. But I was like, no way. There's a circumstance. I watched 8-Legged Freaks, and then all of a sudden there's a spider on my roof trying to go to bed, and I'm freaked out. More freaked out by the spider, but she thought I was scared of the movie, and I was trying to tell her, no, I'm not scared of the movie. There's a literal spider there. And yeah, I did not sleep that night. I don't like spiders. So that's a little bit of my story with a horror movie.
Have you watched the movie Arachnophobia?
No, I will never watch that movie.
Okay.
I can't listen, dude. I just can't, like, even Anaconda or like any of those, like, I just can't. I'm like, oh, snakes and stuff. No, dude.
Anaconda is like
really
Ice Cube, just being Ice Cube. Like, what a classic.
Anaconda's funny.
I can't do it. What about you guys?
Okay. Ironically enough, it was Arachnophobia.
Was it really?
It really was.
It's a good one.
So, because, like, I guess the first Halloween movie I watched was Goosebumps, but that's not scary.
That's a good movie.
But my
Jack
first,
Black?
Yeah,
Jack Black? Okay.
yeah. But my first horror movie was Arachnophobia, and I was staying the night at my aunt and uncle's house with my cousin / best friend, Easton. He was my best friend before he became my cousin. But anyway, I was staying over at my aunt and uncle's house, who is his stepdad and mom. And I stayed over there like at least once a month. And every time we tried to watch a movie, and it was probably October or late September where my aunt and uncle sat us down and were like, okay, we're going to watch a scary movie. And they knew I was terrified of spiders. I have the worst arachnophobia in the world. They're like, we're going to watch Arachnophobia.
So was it like immersion therapy? Is that what they were thinking?
I don't know, but I went most of the night with my head buried in the couch. Like when it was just so creepy. I hate spiders so much. And like the close up of the spider's eyes watching the guy. Oh man, it gave me the heebie-jeebies.
I feel like there's one on me right now. I'm kind of freaking out, to
Do
be
you
honest
think?
with you.
Okay, so I've never seen Arachnophobia. Do you think if you rewatched that today, like, you'd be fine?
No.
Or
no,
would you freak out the exact same way?
I would probably freak out the exact same.
Gotcha.
Guys, I cannot specify. I hate spiders. Spiders are like the worst thing in the world to me. Like, I don't care how big it is. Nothing. I do not deal with
What do you
spiders.
mean? They keep gross bugs out of your house. just, like,
My
vibe in the corner.
I'm related to Ashlyn Sandoval, so she'll come and kill the spiders. I'll kill everything else.
It's a weird
but,
flex.
I'm gonna.
I'll kill everything else, but
Let's put a disclaimer
I don't like doing the spiders.
Let's put a disclaimer. And he also means not humans either. Like, he'll kill anything else and humans
just
off the
murder hoboing everywhere.
So watch out
So-
for Bryce.
So literally last week.
Was your first horror movie?
No. Hang on. You gotta give me here. My female friend, my girlfriend.
Whoa! Edit that out. Edit that out. Gee.
His female.
My friend.
My friend. It's too much for you guys.
He was trying to say it a nice way to give us so bad.
All right, we're gonna restart this sentence.
I don't think we can.
No, we can't. We're running with this one, Graham.
Leave it in. All right, no.
You're very
she ate one.
important friend.
She ate a live
No, I get
spider.
it.
She put it on a
What?
piece of chicken, and
What?
I have a video of it. Yeah, it's
Just like
like
What?
yeah.
Why?
She just swallowed it. She said she felt it crawling up her throat. I don't know if that's like the placebo effect or if that's like something that actually happened.
The acid didn't burn it. She felt the spider.
was it like
It was like Jonah the whale.
was she? Why?
Because her older sister's boyfriend called her a chicken. That is, so she put it on a piece of chicken
So just like
and
peer
consumed
pressure.
100%.
I feel like that's like satanic or something.
I was very worried for
ritual.
her. But she wouldn't like. There was a spider in my room the other day, and she wouldn't kill it. She like got a cup and like dug it up. I don't want it to die, but she ate one live.
She didn't want it to die, so
Amazing.
she ate it.
It amazes me.
Wow.
No, okay. So my first was without question, The Sixth Sense. It's not even a scary movie. It's not even a horror movie. It's just a thriller. But I was 6, and
You
that
were
movie,
6?
I was 6 years old.
Sixth Sense watching at 6 years old, huh?
I was I was terrified. My sister was 3 at the time, and she could barely speak full sentences, and she watched that movie with us. I don't know, Mom. I know you watch all these because she gets mad at me pretty regularly, and that was
Now
a
she
great
and your
movie.
girlfriend are gonna be mad.
He's digging the
you
basketball.
told them that I ate a spider?
Yeah,
No, just because he was like my friend.
My friend
My
and then
friend.
my mom lets me watch horror movies, and she's gonna go, "That's not the true story."
No, my mom hates horror movies, but so like my dad loves horror movies, and like it's switched now. I can watch a horror movie. I'm not like bothered by it. I don't watch a ton of them, but like it's just because like I'd rather watch a comedy. But if somebody's watching a horror movie, I'm down. You know what I mean? But my point is, like at the time, I was terrified. My mom was terrified, and then my sister and my dad are just like into this movie. Like I don't know, like my sister.
I mean, arguably, your 3-year-old sister didn't know what was happening.
No. So the best part about this was spoiler alert. Turn the podcast off. Skip 20 seconds. Whatever.
No, statute of limitations is expired on the Sixth Sense.
it's way too old for you. She points. 3 years old, can't really speak full sentences at the TV and like towards the
Oh,
end.
no.
She says, "He's dead, people. He's dead, people." Like that's serious,
Mm.
man. It was the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life because she figured it out before.
So
I did.
like Poltergeist, kind of.
Have you seen that movie?
Oh, I think Poltergeist is scarier than like Halloweeners.
No, but have
or
you
stuff
seen
like
Sixth
that.
Sense?
I have not watched.
Anybody ever
Sixth
seen
Sense.
Frankenweenie? Like, so Caroline.
Coraline?
Never,
Okay.
never watched. Coraline.
Sweet- I was gonna say Sweet Caroline?
Bum, bum,
My
bum,
bad.
bum.
But Graham, you brought up a really interesting point to say like I can watch a horror movie now, and this is all because it's Halloween and spooky topic, guys. So this is why I'm going to refer to this and I want to put a disclaimer here is you can't catch a demon by watching a horror movie, and I think a lot of times Christians just assume there's a demon hiding around a tree before like.
Yeah.
You can't just get a demon in you necessarily. Like you gotta really say like I don't want God in my life anymore,
you gotta
and you
open yourself up to
accept the demon into your life. And so there's a lot of things like we say like no because you're gonna. That's just bad theology, and you gotta be able to like you gotta worship the demon to actually catch a demon. And this goes into and Pastor Jeff, you can run with this, but there's a verse in Romans 14 that I want to share, and it reads this. Okay. The topic is the weak and the strong, and it says in verse 5 of chapter 14, one person considers one day more sacred than the other. Another considers every day alike. Each of them should be fully convinced in their own mind. Whoever regards one day as special does so to the Lord. Whoever eats meat does so to the Lord, for they give thanks to God. And whoever abstains does so to the Lord and gives thanks to God. For none of us lives lives for ourselves alone, and none of us dies for ourselves alone. If we live for the Lord, and if we die for the Lord. So whether we live or die, we belong to who? The Lord. For this reason, Christ died and returned to life. And this is the end of the verse, and there's a beginning part I want to get to, but I want to say this. If God's Lord of your life, there's going to be convictions, and there's going to be things that you should know that I shouldn't be around something, I shouldn't watch something, and I shouldn't consume something. But early on in this passage, it says this in verse 3, the one who eats everything must not treat with contempt the one who does not. And the one who does not eat everything must not judge the one who does, for God has accepted them. Okay? Who are you to judge someone else's servant? To their own master, servants stand or fall, and they will stand, for the Lord is able to make them stand. And in this verse, this is a Romans 14 situation with Halloween and with scary movies, okay? If you can't watch a scary movie and you feel like this, if you feel this overwhelming disgust or this, man, I can't be in the presence of it. And listen, there's certain movies that you can and can't watch. Don't consume it. Okay, don't be about it. But this isn't a situation of like, if someone watches a horror movie, I'm going to wear a Michael Myers shirt. I like the movie and I enjoy the production of the movie. I looked into the history and making of the movie. So it intrigued me, especially around Halloween time. I have very precious memories with my family on Halloween time. So it's one of the holidays that I appreciate and that I keep close and near and dear to my heart. And so I enjoy the aspects of it. And we'll actually talk about the set decor in a little bit. But this is a Romans 14 thing. If you can't handle it, don't watch it. Don't be around it. Don't consume it. But also don't judge the people that do, okay? Don't say like, oh, you're just letting Satan into your life. No, that's false. That's bad theology. If you can't handle it, good for you. But there's people that can handle it and enjoy it. Like, how could you watch that? Yeah. I'm not watching it maybe for the reason you're thinking. There's just stuff about it that I do enjoy. And I just find it's fun, and but also for the people that don't like it, that's cool for you. And we're gonna get into what Halloween's actually all about. But the aspects of Halloween, there's actually some really cool biblical things in it. And I'm not saying Michael Myers in the movie Halloween is biblical by any means, but it's a Romans 14 thing. I think if you enjoy it, do I necessarily watch any Poltergeist or or what's another one? There's multiple, and I just don't want to be naming movies.
Exorcist.
Yeah, people know them. I probably won't watch those because I just believe there's more things with those that cause effect on my soul, and so I won't watch them.
I'm gonna jump on that. I won't watch any demon possession related, demon, devil, any of that stuff. I just, and I know it's not like I'm gonna catch a demon for watching that. But that's just a line I draw. I'm fine with watching stuff like It or Silence of the Lambs. I'm not gonna watch an Exorcist movie. Just not gonna happen. I don't feel good with that, And so I'm right there with you, Vaughn.
Oh well, thanks. Well, Pastor Jeff, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on spooky movies and the themes that come along with Halloween that people necessarily bring up all the time?
Yes, I think it's interesting, right, when you talk about Halloween and scary movies and all that stuff, because like the first thing I'll say is you can take the Bible and make it say whatever you want.
Yep.
Right. And so I think in that, like the point that you made is really well made, that like all of us are on our own journeys. Right. And what I mean by that is there are movies that I watched 5 years ago as a Christian and as a pastor that I won't watch right now.
Yep. Right.
And there was conviction in my life. Like at one point when I sat down to watch this movie that I can still say, like, objectively, I think it's a well done movie. It's a well made movie. But I won't watch it now. Right. And so like Fight Club is an example of that. Like I won't watch Fight Club now, and that's just a personal conviction. If you were like, "Hey, I just watched Fight Club," I'd be like, "Oh, what do you think?" You know what I mean? And so I look at this in the same way that I look at. I mean, you brought up drinking, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can go to. There's so many different stances on drinking, right? And can you, should you, was wine back in the day, just like grape juice, like all of that stuff. And, I think in it, there are lots of Christians who don't drink and they abstain from alcohol for a lot of really, really good reasons. But to look at somebody else who does drink and say, well, like, oh, well, you're a bad Christian because God convicted me of drinking alcohol. I don't think that works. In the same way, I would say you look at horror movies and scary movies and all that stuff. Like, if you have a conviction in your life that you shouldn't watch this, or so like when my wife and I got married, I was a huge fan of horror movies, like loved them, watched them. It was my favorite genre, watched them all the time. And we started dating, and I actually remember, I think the first movie we went to together was the remake of The Fog, which really bad, just by the way, just a terribly done movie. And we walked out of it, and I drove her home, and we were sitting in my truck, and I was like, "What'd you think of the movie?" And I was, so when we talk about like how it wasn't as good as the original, and like it wasn't well done, she's like, I shouldn't have gone to see that with you. I was like, "What do you mean?" She's like, I feel like for me personally in my faith, like I'm really sensitive to dark themes and especially so the fog involves like specters and some of that stuff. And she's like, and I've just kind of made it a rule in my life that I don't watch that stuff. She's like, but I wanted to spend time with you, and I know it was important to you, and so I went with you to it. And for me, there was no part of me that was like, oh man, like, why would you do that? Do you think you're better than me? I was like, oh, in fact, I was apologetic, because in the same way that like I have a really good friend who's been sober for 10 years. And, because I love him and support him, I'm not going to have a drink around him. Right. In the same way for my wife, like in that moment, I was like, well, then when you're around, like, I'm not going to watch horror movies. But I didn't feel like she was judging me. I didn't feel like I had to stop because I hadn't personally had that conviction.
Yeah.
And so again, I think, man, there are probably some of you out there. The other thing I will say is if you're living at home right now and your parents' rules are you can't watch a rated R movie, you can't watch a horror movie, them's the rules. Like you can't, whether you want to or not. Like once you're on your own, you get the choice to consume the media that you want. But like, right now, like those are the rules.
Exodus 20, honor thy father and thy mother, right?
Yep. But in that, like, I will say on the topic of horror movies, I consume a lot less of them now because I do feel that culturally we are moving in a direction where people are like to engage people. It has to be new. It has to be bigger. We have to push the envelope.
Yeah.
And I feel like, unfortunately, like nudity and sex has leaked into the horror movie industry so much more than it was. And it was present before, so much more than it was before. And as someone who's in the past struggled, especially with pornography and stuff like that, I have to be really careful about the media that I consume. And so for a lot of reasons, like I won't watch a lot of new horror movies if I know that those themes are really present.
Yep.
But again, it doesn't mean that like if you watch one that I'd be like, oh, how dare you?
Yeah, and I would appreciate you would ask like, that's interesting. I like how you said about Fight Club because you're like, well, maybe you're not in that season now, and you'd ask him like, what are your thoughts? And I know Graham's chomping at the bit to bite on that one in a second, but because it's a movie that he really likes right now. So actually ask him. Ask him.
So I was actually gonna ask off, but and I think I know exactly why. But talk to me. Why is that a movie you won't watch?
To be honest, I was talking to my wife about it the other day. So like, I'm old enough that I have a DVD collection. And I'm also like enough of a hoarder that if I buy a piece of media, like I still have my CDs from when I was in high school.
Come on.
Take 'em.
When I was a young boy.
Yeah. I just don't get rid of, like, if I buy a book, if I buy a movie, if I buy a video game, if I buy a piece of music, like physical media is dead, just by the way, you're wasting your time. Like I have it. I have all of it. And so on my DVD shelf, there are a number of movies that I won't watch. And as far as Fight Club, I was talking to my wife about this the other day because we were looking just at the DVD shelf, trying to decide if we wanted to watch a movie that wasn't like on any of our streaming services. And I saw it, and both of us felt like we had this conversation, I don't know, a few years ago. Both of us felt like, Fight Club's not a movie that we can watch. But there's not anything super specific apart from just the last time that I put it on. And I was sitting there watching it. I just felt like this. I've really pushed everyone. I try to do this myself to ask yourself the question: is this God's best for me? Right? Paul says in Corinthians, not everything is permissible, not everything is beneficial.
Ooh.
Right? And so I try to ask myself with everything that I do in my life: is this God's best for me?
Yeah.
And obviously you can get into the weeds legalistically doing that, right? Like you can get into this, like, well, nothing except for prayer and fasting is good for me. And so I got 4 weeks or whatever, and then I'm done. But I was watching it, and that question popped into my head, and I felt deep in my spirit that the answer was no. And then I had a choice: keep watching it because it's a well done movie. I mean, I just saw like I don't remember, like an article, and Edward Norton was talking about it. And he said that when it aired at like the Independent Film Festival, like it ended and a bunch of people booed that movie.
I saw that, yeah.
And Brad Pitt leaned over to him and was like, that's the best movie I'll ever be in. And it is so well done. It's a wild book, just by the way.
Yeah,
it's crazy. But Like it's such a well done, like the production values of that movie, the way they shoot it, like the way they take the, you know, the concept of the book and bring it to life on screen. It's so well done. And Brad Pitt and Edward Norton put out like an amazing performance. But I was sitting there, and the answer to the question, is this God's best for me? Deep in my spirit was no. And so I was like, I can either keep watching it because I like it, or I can be honoring to the conviction of the Holy Spirit in my life right now and say, okay, doesn't matter if it's well done. Doesn't matter if I enjoy it. I shouldn't be watching it.
I completely understand that, and I completely understand that. And that's not. It is not like a godly movie. There is a scene in there that like it talks about basically God doesn't love you type of a, and I'm like that's never a thing I feel comfortable with. I do like that movie a lot. That is my that's one of my favorite movies. But I have a movie like that. This is a terrible movie. The one I'm about to recommend, nobody should watch.
So you're not recommending it.
I am not recommend. Yeah,
The one you're
I'm
about to
mention,
reference.
yeah,
Got it.
And I love this movie for a period of my life. I'll spit two movies out real quick. And both of these, I loved them the first time I watched it. And as I matured in my faith, as I became a more grown person, I started and did not finish both of these movies. That being American Psycho. I won't watch that movie. Even though the first time I watched it, I loved it. I thought it was great. It's great political commentary. Man, I can't watch it anymore. You know what I mean? And then the second one being Wolf of Wall Street. Both are really well done movies. Just like Fight Club. You know what I mean? You talk about that. Both are well done objectively. Like if you're a movie critic and you're not looking at the morals, great movies. I can't do them. I don't think that's healthy to my soul and my faith. And so I just won't watch them. Now, I probably am. I'm gonna confess something. Probably a bad influence, because me and Bryce over the summer, we worked out. He went to my house. We had a lift, and then we watched Fight Club. And I kind of feel bad because homie was traumatized.
Yeah,
Totally.
I walked out of there, got in my car, and just drove home in silence. Didn't turn on music or anything. I was just like,
Yeah, I watched it when I was 12 for the first time with my dad, and that was exactly my reaction.
I was 17 when I watched it, and I had the same reaction as a 12-year-old. No, it's like it was a good movie. It's just it messed with my head, and I don't know. I'm a if you know me in real life, you know I'm the kind of person that I want to understand everything that's happening.
This is good.
All the time. But watching Fight Club, like, it just threw me off. And, like, there were so many things that I was questioning. And it just made me rethink a whole lot of situations that I had previously been in. And I'm like, is that right? Like, what's happening?
Yeah.
Like, it was just such a strange experience. And, like, I think it was a really great movie. Am I going to be like, you know what I want to watch tonight? I want to watch Fight Club. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm just, it was something that messed with my head too much, I would say.
So would you say your reaction to it was more intellectual than it was spiritual?
I would say so. I think a little bit of it.
It all works together.
It all works together. I would say a little
Yeah.
bit of it has to be spiritual because, like what Graham said, it does. There is a part of it that goes like, oh, God doesn't love you, and stuff like that. But it also goes against like, what is the spirit of man and all that stuff. So there's both intellectual and there is spiritual conflictions in it.
And I think that's my pull towards it is on the intellectual side for sure, because it's objectively like, I mean, it's not a God-seeking movie at all. But I think the attitude it takes towards consumerism and towards chasing things that don't matter, and allowing yourself to let go, I really enjoy that from an intellectual, psychological state. And I think it makes good points. But I know exactly where both of you guys are coming from, and I totally respect that. And I mean, I haven't watched it since I haven't watched it. I'm not saying I'll never watch it again or anything. And maybe I come to a place where I turn it on and then I turn it off. And so I'm not gonna make that call right now. But it's I think objectively a great, well done movie, and objectively isn't a good like position to have. Like it's not a good input. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But
Yeah. I will say I'm probably the most annoying person to watch a movie with though, because during the entire time we were watching that movie, I was like, Graham, was that a man that just flashed on the on the screen?
yeah, that
Like,
was funny.
What?
At the beginning, if you don't know, Tyler Durden flashes throughout the movie, and Bryce was the entire time like, what was that? Was that a guy? Like through the like, just watch it, man.
Bryce, you bring up an interesting point though, because I think a lot of stances that we have when it comes to things, and I'm gonna bring it back full circle to why you believe what you believe. We're always in this wondering of why do I feel this way? Why do I think this way? And we always ended at like the intellectual part. But what is the Spirit trying to tell you to learn? What is it? Something you got to dig deeper in the Word. What is there? Like a lot of us say, okay, God told me, but like, okay, explain it, break it down. Like help me understand why you felt the way you did. And I think Christians do a terrible job at saying why they are no on something and why they're yes on something. And we can get into a whole political reason, like. You could just say like, I'm Christian, so I'm Republican. That's so dangerous. Why are you Republican?
Yeah.
Like there's this, you gotta know what you're talking about. And again, if you're taking it as like it's a put like why you bring that up, that's the problem, because if we can't have these conversations, know why you believe what you believe, you can't just say like I am this. That's dangerous.
Right.
And in the roots of everything, I would say one of the most interesting things about our church history are even two writers that from a movie that you're probably not allowed to watch that I think has symbolism. Like you would think this. I think God has magic. That look at the Holy Spirit. That's pretty magical. That's pretty like when you think about it, like it works in that like mysterious ways. Like there's a lot of mysterious things that God does, but we put evil presence on magic in certain things. But you got to think about it like in the viewpoint, like that's pretty magical. Like the Holy Spirit does. Look at J.R. Tolkien. Come on, like one of this dude was a follower of Jesus. Look at C.S. Lewis.
They were best friends.
Chronicles of Narnia, Lord of the Rings, and C.S. Lewis helped J.R. Tolkien on his journey.
It was actually the opposite.
It's opposite.
It was the opposite. He was
Flip the switch on that.
C.S. Lewis was a hardcore atheist at Oxford.
It was
they
a flip.
both went to Oxford. They were both professors. C.S. Lewis, hardcore atheist, preaching against the gospel, and J.R.R. Tolkien, outstanding Christian, was able to kind of like have deep philosophical. Whoa, that's not a word. Philosophical conversations.
You got there, didn't you?
You have those moments, and have those had that debate with him, and eventually he came to Christ through that, and through the intellectual side, and then through the spiritual side.
But they wrote in a world where it was mystical,
right?
And that's kind of where God kind of is. And what intrigues me still about the Halloween season is that, and you look at our set pieces, like you got the cobweb spiders, you got kind of the natural, like why would we still put that? There's still a question like, well, why'd you put that up if that's not biblical? But what I would say is like, when you look at the skeletons, like Christians, come on, let's do a little better job explaining this, and I'll get to one of them in a little bit. But skeletons, like if you got skeletons in your home, that's not like spooky. Like there's dark themes in the Bible, not spooky themes. I think with Halloween, you got to look at the difference of like spooky and dark themes. Skeletons a dark theme. We can put skeletons up because for me. That's a reminder, like life is short. That is going to be you at one point in your grave. You're going to be bones, okay? And you had this up around a dark season, dark theme as a reminder for Christians. Like, I got skeletons up. It's a reminder for me, live life each day. Like, that's a good reminder. You can even get to other things like that we're going to talk about here in a little bit, like Frankenstein. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. But I think when you look at certain themes like Chronicles of Narnia or Lord of the Rings that we would deem as like, unbiblical, that's kind of crazy because there's a lot of themes in there that are very biblically sound. And I would say there's a lot of literature. You look at Shakespeare. Shakespeare's known as one of the best Catholic writers at one point. So I think Halloween's kind of fun. You get to dress up Shakespearean. It's a play. Like you dress up as like a firefighter. But there's also Halloween themes where people dress up as sorority girls dressing up as inappropriate themes, or this is an excuse to dress inappropriate. And the movie Mean Girls talks about that a little bit. But that doesn't have to be what it is. Like you can dream to become, my son's going to dress up as Spider-Man. literally Graham was sitting in here as Spider-Man. Like it's kind of a time to kind of play dress up, have fun. That isn't unbiblical by any means. But with these themes, I there's dark and spooky. What do you think about that? The dark and spooky side of themes.
Well, I was gonna say, like, I think a lot of people would say Halloween is unbiblical, and here's what I'd say to that: like, I think Halloween is abiblical. I don't think it's unbiblical. I don't think it's biblical. I think there are expressions
Yes.
and cultural viewpoints on Halloween that are certainly unbiblical. But I mean, I think you can look at anything in culture, and I mean, even like church on Sunday morning, I would actually say is abiblical. The way the church operates right now, with a 1 hour thing every week, it's abiblical. The Bible doesn't say, hey, go start a church, meet for an hour. It doesn't say,
Right,
hey,
yeah.
your church can't meet for an hour. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I think as we navigate through this, like, there are certainly expressions of Halloween and the Halloween season that I would say fly in the face of Christianity.
Mm-hmm.
And it's your prerogative as a Christian to say no to those. But I think the other side of that is, yeah, and I mean, Halloween is such a loaded subject, right? Like, I grew up in a family that we went to a few different churches, and there was one church that, like, you couldn't say Halloween, and we had harvest parties, and you weren't allowed to do anything Halloween, but some of us still went trick-or-treating, but it was like, you don't talk about this, like, to the pastor, like, nobody can know, and so I think we've just gotten so legalistic on all of this stuff that we want to label everything black and white and not be able to engage people and culture in the gray, right? You brought up C.S. Lewis and Tolkien, right? Like, and I think a lot of people would be like, well, they were good Christian authors, and then people would bring up, like, as an example of something that they would say, like, oh, this is not good literature, would be like Harry Potter. Right. That's like the big hot button one. And I remember there was a young guy in a college life group that I led, and he was sitting in my apartment afterwards, and a couple of my roommates were there, and they both went to the same college ministry we did. And I was just asking him, his name was Grant. I was just asking him, like, hey, how'd you come to faith? What did that look like? And he's like, it's kind of weird, man. Like, I actually came to faith because of Harry Potter. And I was like, that's why, like, talk to me about that. And he was like, Harry Potter was the first thing that I ever read, that I ever experienced, that talked about unconditional sacrificial love. The way that Harry Potter's, like, parents, like, basically, like, took the killing curse for him. Yep. And right. Mm-hmm. And he was walking through this. He's like, and that made me so curious about, like, why would someone do that? And he's like, and it opened my heart to the gospel. And my roommate was sitting in the living room. He goes, wrong. And I was like, what? And he goes, Harry Potter's of the devil, and nothing good can come from it. He's like, you're wrong. I was like, you don't get to tell him that, man. Like, God moved in this young dude's life through a book that you're writing off as a sin to read. Like, and we had this long, like, hard conversation. But for me, I'm like, I don't know that you can do that, right? Because morality is black and white, but I think people operate in the gray.
Yeah.
And I think part of the gospel is being willing to walk through the mess of life and the gray with people. It doesn't mean, again, morality is black and white, like, but where we are, we have to be able to walk through the mess of life with people. Yeah. and meet them where they're at and engage with them. And if we can't do that, we're missing what Jesus did.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, you brought up a good point on the Harry Potter. And what's interesting? People could be watching this and you're going, well, you're bringing up these movies. You're telling us, no. It's understanding. We have an understanding of, and it's like trick or treating. Okay. If you want to go out and have a fun night with your family, trick or treat, get your pillowcases and go get candy. Great. If you want to have a Halloween night at your church on Halloween, or you go bowling and you shut the lights, do it. It's the Romans 14 thing. Mm-hmm. Don't judge. It's getting candy. If that's not your thing, don't do it. Don't dress up. That's not your thing. And by any means, what I'm trying to, and I think what we're all saying is, like, it's not Halloween that I'm wanting us to celebrate. There's a theme of understanding, like, the whys of, like, certain movies that people deem as dark themed. Harry Potter's a dark theme. Lord of the Rings is a dark theme. Chronicles of Narnia is dark theme. It's not spooky. That's the difference. Look at the Book of Revelations. That's a dark theme book. Absolutely. Well, let's look at it. A lot of people would pull in history and say it's a Celtic history. It's a Celtic holiday, and these sinners and the heathens put this holiday together, and there's no historical backing to that. It was an evil, satanic ritual. And you know what's funny? Guess what it was called?
Hallows Eve.
Yes, and we're going to get to that, actually. You're jumping, Graham. You're jumping, and I love it.
You asked.
I love it. But actually, it's called a fall festival. What is your church holiday event called? Fall festival. Okay.
My youth group, we called ours the Farty.
The farty is a little bit unbiblical, but it's
Yeah, I got
farty.
had some parents mad about that too. Fall party.
Tell
it
them.
makes sense. Fall party. Farty.
Yeah.
You guys want to have a farty? Why?
This is the youth ministry.
Because you couldn't say Halloween.
Could not say Halloween at my
Interesting.
church.
But it's kind of interesting because then churches call fall festival, and the people that they think created a satanic notion call their churches call their thing fall festival. I find that kind of funny.
Harvest parties
Or harvest parties, right? So it's kind of interesting because we don't want to celebrate the word Halloween, but where we kind of originate was there was that fall festival that was a Celtic tradition was actually taken by Pope Gregory III. Here's some historical facts for us, okay? Pope Gregory III was credited for moving this celebration that the Orthodox Church had as celebrating saints, and it was an opportunity for the martyrs. At this time, it was just martyrs at this time, to celebrating them for taking the huge step of sacrificing themselves for the cause of Christ. And it became a point where they were having to do so many parties. And guess what? Imagine having a party over and over again, and maybe you did have drinking at these parties, and yes, they drank, and they probably wouldn't be good for them. So they were having parties, and there was more martyrs, praise God, right? And so what he established was a singular day to celebrate not just the martyrs, but then the saints that led the way. And he ended up making All Saints Day move from May 13th to November 1st. Okay, this is what it gets interesting. So November 1st, what does that have to do with Halloween? Well, Graham brought it up. Graham, what did you say earlier?
Hallows Eve.
Hallows Eve, which then happened on October 31st. Just kind of like your December 23rd celebration of Christmas Eve.
That's
This
Christmas Eve,
is of
I think
24th. I apologize.
Yeah,
My
I was
bad.
like-
25th. Sorry, is the day. 24th. I actually think 24th is the main Christmas day for me. I don't know why for
That's
celebrating
because you're on
Christmas Eve.
staff at a church and we do everything on Christmas
So
Eve. We just
true.
have to go wild on the
so
24th.
And 25th is just like we're not even there.
We're just all exhausted.
That's a good point. So yeah, and so October 31st is Hallows Eve, and what I think as a culture is that November 1st. Like what I want to take from this, and we're gonna talk about these topics here, but take followers of Christ, take back your days and stop letting the world define and take what was ours. I think we got to realize that we have a holiday that was specifically for us, and it's not putting up bloody, ghoulish things or horror movies, but they took something for us to represent people and share people who had died for the cause of Christ. And to think that even for me, at first I was kind of like, us celebrating people that died for us, isn't that idolatry? No, because what we're establishing is sharing the importance of going and making disciples and the people that did that, and to celebrate those that put themselves first. Because some of us, we can't even get to church on time or bring a Bible or be prepared to get in the Word, and we take these things for granted. So it's really a holiday for us to remember and celebrate those that actually lived it out to inspire us. So take back what was yours, Christians. Take back what was originally for us, that Pope Gregory set up for you and I. And in Halloween is here because of the faith of Pope Gregory. And notice this, it's martyrs, death. What is Halloween now about? Death, right? It's a dark, now spooky theme because you think ghosts and all these things. And so just know there's things you can make this holiday, turn it on its head and represent Jesus with it, not just be taken over by it, which I think a lot of Christians do. They hide away, shut off their lights, and say we're not going to take part. No, take back what was given to us. And that's kind of what I get fired up about a little bit.
Well, I think even in that, my biggest push in all this, whether it's Halloween or Harry Potter or anything, is know what you believe, and maybe more importantly, know why. right? Even all this stuff that we're saying, like if you hear that, you're like, well, I don't know if that's true. Like, one, compare it first to the Bible, and then do some research. Like, figure out what, is this true? And I've actually researched it, and he's right. It is true. But then I think even in that, like, I think, and I mentioned earlier, like, I'm not a huge proponent of Christian culture because I think at worst it isolates us. Right. And I think we have to understand, like, the church isn't like an ark for the righteous. It's a lifeboat for everyone.
Yeah.
And, I think there is this, like, you look at the people of Israel, right, when they're going to the promised land, and God sets all these rules so that they remember that they're set apart, that they're God's chosen people. And there should be something in your life and about the way that you live and the way that you engage that people see that's different. But they can't see it if you don't engage with them. Right. And I think the call of Christianity is to meet people where they're at and not expect people who aren't Christians to act like Christians. And, again, there are some dark themes around Halloween that if you lean into, don't, you know what I mean? But at the same point, like, Halloween, whether it's, whether you believe that it started as this crazy pagan, like, jack-o'-lanterns exist to show how many kids you killed or whatever, like, it's not that anymore. For mainstream culture, it's not. It's an excuse to have fun with your family and go out and get candy. And once you get older, like, it gets kind of wild. And the Mean Girls actually did a really good job talking about like why does everything have to be sexy? Yeah. But in that, like, man, I've had some amazing conversations with neighbors who don't believe when they come trick or treating to my house. And I think of a buddy back in Michigan who in Michigan, it's always snowy and really terrible on Halloween. And you spend like $50 on your kid's Halloween costume, then they wear their coat anyway. And he and I were talking, and he got flack from this from some of his Christian friends because they're like, oh, you're celebrating like the devil's night. In his garage, he had a warming station where parents and their kids could stop and get hot cider and hot cocoa and coffee. And he had so many conversations about faith in the gospel because the number one question people ask are, why are you doing this? He's like, because I care about you. But why? Because Jesus cares about you. And this is a simple way for me to love my neighborhood and my community. And like Pastor Vaughn was saying, take back a night and represent Christ in a really amazing way on a night where, let's be honest, Christ is honestly the furthest things from a lot of people's minds. And there's a way to engage with culture and hold on to your faith and hold on to your integrity.
Come on.
But so often we're like, well, I don't know what that looks like. And the line there, it can be hard to find. It can be easy to cross. But if you don't try, like, you're missing the point of the gospel, because it's not just about you and the rest of the people who've met Jesus. It's about bringing more people to meet Jesus. And to get people who don't know Jesus, you got to go to where people who don't know Jesus are. And we have to be willing to engage. And again, in the same way that I wouldn't send a former alcoholic into a bar to witness to people. If you struggle with some of this stuff, then this isn't where you're supposed to do it. Okay? Like, let's get that out there right now. If this is something that you struggle with, that you're sensitive to, that you feel a deep conviction from the Lord, then this isn't your place and this isn't your time, and that's okay. But you have to have an outlet for gospel urgency in your life that meets people where they're at.
That is so good. Any thoughts from you two over there?
You go ahead.
So C.S. Lewis, to just jump on your point, C.S. Lewis has an analogy. British people notoriously have terrible teeth, right? Right? Objectively awful. And as somebody we
just lost all of our UK listeners and viewers.
All three of you are angry right now.
There are some too, and they're gone.
No. However, I've been to Nairobi, Kenya. They have great teeth, man. They have, that is a developing country.
What did you just say?
They have great teeth. They have solid pearly whites, better than mine, right? That is a developing country. And the United Nation, or not, the UK is a developed nation. They have access to all of the toothbrushes on earth, and their teeth aren't great. C.S. Lewis's analogy is that some people are going to struggle with certain sins more than others. They're going to be disposed to it. Either way, your job is to take care of that and to do what is right for you, right? And so, just to jump on that, we talk about some people feel really, really strongly about this particular thing. It's a sensitive subject. This isn't for you. And there's a lot of things, a lot of areas that, some people are, okay, we talked about with Chad, previous episode, go watch it, shameless plug. talked about depression in there, right? And he was never a depressed person, right? And so that was a struggle that he didn't have to deal with, that other people did. That doesn't mean they're doing something wrong, in that area. And Chad had a lot of issues in his testimony that I've personally never dealt with, right? And so it's a give and a take. And if you feel like you have to be, if you feel like you're super convicted, just like Jeff said, man, step away from that. And if you're not, have fun with it. Go in and, I mean, I do my best, right? We're willing to go on mission trips to third world countries and stuff, but we're not really willing to, speak to people who we think are doing the devil's business or whatever in our own neighborhoods, in our own communities.
Just know what you're talking about. It's the theme of Christmas isn't going to save you from Halloween. It's not going to save you. And man, don't get Jeff and I started. Okay, so you want to talk about a pagan holiday, winter solstice. You guys that celebrate Christmas, that's where it came from.
Yeah.
Okay, we took that. And the thing is, I found interesting. I'm going to go on the Christmas one because I want the Christmas people to be kind of caught up in this. Is putting up a tree now, and I know this isn't all some of you. Michelle Stotts, I'm not talking to you. Okay, but putting up a tree to maybe remove the demons and evil. That's not what Christmas is intended. And also Christians that we're called to tithe, but we'll go into debt and not pay rent on our house to pay for gifts on Christmas.
Yeah.
What is the purpose of Christmas? To give, not to get lost in the sauce of getting gifts and the stress of gifts. We can go on that topic all day long.
Yeah, for sure.
And there's that line too.
Yeah, I have strong feelings about Christmas. Like, I love it and I hate it.
They're like, do we even love Jesus? Did Jeff and Bonnie?
Well, I mean, that's the crazy thing, right? Because it pitches itself as a Christian holiday, like everything's cool. Like, go and spend $700 on your credit card, and don't tithe that month or what. You know what I mean?
Buy
like,
into the consumerism.
because it's Christmas, because it's Jesus' birthday,
right.
And it's actually not. Yeah, winter solstice is Saturnalia. Go ahead and look it up. And again, there's nothing wrong with celebrating Christmas. But if, as a Christian, you identify more with Christmas than you do with Christ, you're missing it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And I think so often we let these things that we associate with Christianity become more important to us than Christ.
Yeah.
I worked in retail for like 10 years. A little bit. And so I had the Christmas joy like absolutely beaten out of me very quickly.
I'm assuming you've seen Marvel movies, right, Jeff?
Mm-hmm.
You know the Winter Soldier,
yeah.
And like when he says the words and stuff, and he starts like shaking, going violent, and then he gets to like this assassin or whatever. Do you feel that with Mariah Carey? All I Want for Christmas Is You. Is that like that goes on?
It's time.
Like a sleeper agent activation. Like you just go feral.
I will be honest. Like for a long time in my marriage, we did not have a Christmas tree. We did not listen to Christmas music because
That's crazy.
It was like almost like panic flashbacks to getting yelled at by people because they were like, you don't have the TV I wanted. How dare you go in the back and make one? You're Asian. And then I had kids, and there's a deep joy in loving your children around Christmas and even around Halloween. Like, we weren't big Halloween people in my house. Growing up, we just weren't. And my wife's family love it. Favorite holiday. Her sister was born on Halloween, so that's probably part of it.
Wow.
But and so it's always been a huge thing for her. It was never really a big thing for me. I think part of the reason I like it so much is once I got out of the house and I started watching horror movies, I enjoyed those. And then I cut my teeth on music in the pop punk kind of era, and there's something I don't know. I think if you were in a punk band, Halloween has to be your favorite holiday. But my kids love it. They love dressing up and going and getting candy. And for them, it's not about worshiping the devil, and it's not about people getting murdered. They just this is a fun. I get to wear my costume and hang out with my friends and go and get candy. And we have people we have last year, our Hills group came over and we had a Halloween party and we gave candy out and we talked about Halloween, but we talked about Jesus, and they don't have to be mutually exclusive. But yeah, Christmas for me, it all kind of changed once I had kids and I started seeing them enjoy it. And it's not that I didn't love Christmas and I didn't love the things that we did to celebrate Christ, even though he wasn't born in December. but it's become this whole thing. And again, know what you believe and know why.
Yep.
Like, Christmas, that whole like, how dare you? I'm going to say Merry Christmas, like getting angry at somebody for saying Happy Holidays. Let me just ask you, does that do more harm than good for the gospel?
Yeah.
Like, and are you going to die on that hill and then not honor Christ with the rest of your life?
Don't take Christ out of Christmas. I'll say Xmas. It's probably one of the most biblical things you could say, actually.
It's easier to write.
Amen to that. No, I love this because this is a perspective people don't understand and know what you believe, why you believe, and run with it.
Yeah.
And don't get swayed to the left and right. And I'm calling on the youth. It is time for you guys to start developing your roots now. And you say you don't need your parents, right? You don't like I'm an adult. Act like it. Know what you believe, and don't be swayed so easy. And I'm saying that out of love because if you have roots now, like those minor problems that are major problems in your life right now, they'll probably happen less and less because there's more major things coming, like college decisions, standing up for your faith when professors telling something. You could write a paper and not be consumed by it and be swayed by it. Because I had to write papers, and not all my professors believe the same thing that I do. And you can't, like, it's just nice to know things and learn things, but just because they believe one thing doesn't mean I have to. But if I write the paper, it's not going to affect me.
Mm-hmm.
But there's more major things than the things that we're looking at now, like my friend thinks this or they drive this. Like there's these little things that take over us. So get some roots. Understand why you believe what you believe. Why certain holidays or certain things that I can't dress or certain way or I can't watch. Listen, don't go around dressing in a way that you want people looking at you lustfully. Like why put yourself in that position? Like there's really no point of that, right? And so but wear something fun. Put on a Deadpool onesie. Like have fun with it. But I want to ask you guys, I've been eating this stuffing chips. Anybody want some more of these?
I actually never tried them. I gotta.
Jeff, you just looked at me. You just gave me an eye, bro. Like you're like, what's happening right now? Sorry.
I just feel like I'm a loud chewer, and I don't want to do that to everybody
I pushed
listening.
You can.
Microwave,
Yeah,
you
you
never
can.
know.
Well, you can mute it.
Eat the
There's a little
stuffing.
button on that front.
Stuffing chips are delicious. I want to know you guys' top 3 candies, and we're gonna have our production booth. They're going to judge us, and don't you do it? Stop! Get out of here with that nonsense. Oh my gosh,
That was hard sounding. That
Oh.
was
What
wild.
are these expired Sour Patch Kids? No, gosh, that hurt. Oh, the watermelon, the best. What is your
The
top
absolute
3?
best Sour Patch
Top
Kids,
3
the
candy,
watermelon.
Bryson. You can go back to as a kid. What was it when your pillowcase of candy? What was your top 3 favorite candies?
When I was a kid, well, first was always the Reese's peanut butter cups.
Classic.
Love Reese's peanut butter cups.
I brought some.
Second,
Ooh.
second
those?
is M&M's, peanut butter M&M's,
Ooh.
which I think are way better than Reese's Pieces.
Reese's Pieces.
Reese's Pieces. Whatever.
This is an inconsequential hill that I will die on. It's Reese
Reese's
apostrophe
Passes.
S. Reese is a name. The S denotes ownership, and there are no pieces of anything.
Reese's
That-
Pieces.
Reese's Pieces. You would never say, "Hey, let me have some pieces of that pizza." Like it's not a thing. Reese's Pieces.
Okay, so
I
that's
think
your
Reese's.
top 3.
No, I don't like Reese's Pieces. And then third would
Wait, what?
I
You
don't
just said
like
it was your favorite.
No, I prefer the peanut butter M&Ms.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
To Reese's Pieces, because Reese's Pieces.
there you go.
Wait, what are you on right now?
Reese's Pieces are just peanut butter.
So
So you like the chocolate?
So I like the chocolate.
okay.
And then I guess the third would be Skittles.
That's
Which Skittles?
Just original.
Not Wildberry?
oh, dude, no,
You're
stop.
selling yourself so short.
You like the
I
taste
don't
of cough syrup?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah.
Oh, Wildberry's the best.
Are you talking to me right now? Are you serious? I didn't mean to come at you like that,
No,
bro.
I thought you were with me on challenging him about not liking Wildberry. So it was this roller coaster of emotions where I was like, yes, Pastor Vaughn's on my side. And then I was like, no, he's talking to me.
Oh, hold on. Wait, what is the other one? Maybe I'm thinking of another one.
There's Tropical in a blue bag. No
That's
bueno.
what I'm thinking
That
about.
one's not good.
That's the one I'm talking about.
Wildberry's the purple bag.
So I'm back on the wild berry.
Yeah,
Wild berries are good. Wild berries are good. They're solid.
Wildberry Lifesaver or Wildberry Skittles gummies.
What's your thought
The
on
What?
that?
absolute best.
I've never
Gummies?
had.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. What is your thoughts on the sour Skittles?
Delicious. Oh, come on.
So here's
Is
what
this
I'll
where we
like.
go separate ways?
I just don't do well with sour.
Really?
Mhm.
What?
I don't. And so, like, I've had a warhead once in my life, and I threw up
No
in
way.
Travis Morley's mom's van. I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry, Mrs. Morley. He gave me a blue warhead, and I threw up in your van. I apologize.
Did you got a blue warhead?
Um,
No.
Who
And so
has
I
warheads
just-
in here?
I just don't do sour terribly well.
Okay.
And so for me, getting through the sour on sour Skittles is too much work for like the delicious Skittle underneath. Now, that being said, I enjoy Sour Patch Kids. I think they are an acceptable level of sour for me. But I do gravitate towards watermelon, towards, I don't know if you've had them, the peach Sour Patch.
Yes.
Are
Yes.
so good.
Yes.
And they're not terribly sour.
So what's your top 3 as a kid?
I'm an old man candy person.
Okay.
Whoppers. Like,
the
I
Almond
love
Joy?
Whoppers.
Stop.
I love Almond Joys. Like, if you go into my office right now,
Almond Joy?
I love Almond Joy. I wish, though, that Mounds is dark chocolate with no almond. I wish they made Almond Joy in dark chocolate.
They don't have it in dark chocolate?
No, it's Almond Joy is milk chocolate with the almond. Mounds is
thin.
dark chocolate, no almond.
So milk chocolate's like they're probably staple, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
Seems like
Um,
dark chocolate almond joy would be significantly better than milk chocolate. I don't really like dark chocolate.
Yeah, get a
Seems like-
Mounds and just imagine what it would be like with the delicious crunchy almond.
He's sucking up to you.
But like if you go into my office right now, I have a candy dish in there that is it's like a walnut with a squirrel on top. Eat it, Chad. I stole it from Chad Stotts at our Christmas party, our staff Christmas party.
He's watching.
Yeah, I know. He comes into my office and calls me a jerk about it.
I'll binge it one day.
And so in there right now are Werther's Originals, which I love. Not top tier
Wow.
candy, but I have Werther's Originals. And I have, nobody knows the names. They're the strawberry grandma candies.
Oh yeah.
They're actually called strawberry bonbons. Just a heads up, I
Huh.
do know the name.
That's a candy. He's called a bonbon.
Yeah,
Isn't a
strawberry
bonbon like a breadish type of thing? Like a
No,
bread?
like
Nah.
I mean, in the confectionery world, like a bonbon is like a coated chocolate thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so those are the hard candies I enjoy. But top 3 candies for me, like right now
On Halloween, like as a
on
kid.
Halloween.
Oh yeah.
So absolutely Reese's. I'm a huge proponent of the seasonal pumpkin, egg, Christmas tree,
Okay.
heart.
The Valentine's.
And then there's like the long goodbye where they go away, and I'm like, where there's like firework shaped ones. Reese's like, let's get after it. I will say I didn't bring them today because I did find out that the shapes, the specialty shapes, can't be guaranteed gluten free.
What is up with that? What?
It's because they're processed in a different facility that also processes stuff with gluten.
What was the point of that?
I don't know. So before I came on, I was like, I'm bringing only gluten-free snacks because I care
Thank
about
you.
Vaughn. And I looked up on the Hershey's website, and they were like, all the Reese's stuff. I was like, yes. And they were like, except for, there was one with pretzels. Obviously, you can't do
Yeah.
that. But they were like, and then none of the
Shaped ones.
seasonal shapes because they can't guarantee that they haven't been cross-contaminated. But so Reese's.
Gosh, that's depressing.
I say you go for it.
And then right now, like, I mean, honestly, Almond Joy.
Oh,
I
yeah.
love Payday bars.
Oh, come on, salty sweet.
Yeah, salty sweet.
Bryce is
like,
upset.
I love it. So Payday has the highest swing. Like a Payday bar could be the worst experience ever if the caramel isn't soft.
If it's
You know
super
what I mean?
hard.
If you
Oh,
get
yeah,
it and you
for
bite
sure.
into it,
For
and it's
sure.
like, oh my
or the
god,
peanut
like,
has that burnt taste
yeah,
to it.
yeah. So
Yeah.
I feel this way about McDonald's fries. I think McDonald's fries at their best are the best fast food fry.
Preach it.
But I think that at their worst, they're the worst fast food fry.
Wendy's fries
also
is up
fair.
there though. Wendy's fries is up there. Come on, sneak
Yeah,
them.
I enjoy Wendy's fries.
Yeah, come on.
But yeah, so Payday, a good Payday is up there in my top 3. So as a kid, Reese's, Almond Joy, Payday.
Ooh, come on. That's a good one. All right,
All right.
Graham. Graham is Chip. The thing that he did at youth was terrible, and I'm hoping he bounces back with a barbecue
What is
candy.
this chip thing?
Oh,
We did on the live pod. We did a chip, the
Ranking?
top 5 chips.
I
and
was
he
still
did a
better than
ranking
Zeke,
of 2
so I
barbecue
won,
chips.
But
He had 2 barbecue chips on his ranking. A
Hey.
Pringles barbecue.
the Pringles was my number one. Pringles barbecue was my number one.
You know,
And
Pringles
then-
can't call themselves chips because
yeah, I know.
like,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like a
yeah.
whole thing.
Anyways, but
You didn't know that. You didn't know that.
I did know that. Yeah, I'm a trivia dude. But my
It's
number
just like
2, I just put it on there
potato
because
powder and
everybody started
sawdust.
booing me after I put Pringles number 1. Everybody
Pringles
started,
is your number one chip.
Pringles barbecue was my go-to, and then everybody lost it, and so I just decided to throw another barbecue in there because I thought it'd be funny.
disgusting.
I don't even think I got a third one in. I think
Hills,
everybody just cut me
Are
off.
you selling yourself short? Do you feel like your life?
There's a reason I stay in the back, man. I just
About to
click
play the music.
buttons, eat my Pringles.
Look, I enjoy a good can of Pringles.
Sour cream was good.
But to put them at number one, you're doing your. There are so many great potato chips.
I mean, he calls his girlfriend friend, so that's
Me and my friend get home, crack open a can of the best chip. If somebody said, "Hey, you want a can of the best chip?" I'd be like, "That's an oxymoron. There's no way that works."
He hates his friend if that's what they're doing. All right.
I love you, Bailey. All right, let's get it.
Oh,
Aw.
What if that was the first time?
That was the
effect?
first time.
What if that was the first
Definitely was
time?
not
that you,
the first
okay.
time. Yes, it was. It was 100% the first time.
All right. What's your chip? You take forever to get through your rankings, Grant.
Sorry, that's on me. I asked about the chip thing.
Yeah, no,
That's
this
my
was-
bad.
We blame him.
Yeah, okay, blame me. That's cool. Honestly, this is hard. Are we going candy bars or are we just candy in general?
Candy and
What
jam.
Halloween candy do you like getting?
Halloween, yeah, okay.
Yeah, like when you get home and you do the
Yeah.
thing that everyone does where you dump all your candy out onto the living room floor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you trade with your friends because your friends
Right.
are dumb and don't like Reese's or they have allergies. Sorry, Olivia. My youngest daughter can't eat Reese's.
Aw. I can't either. The specialty ones.
The specialty ones, which are objectively the best ratio of
I
chocolate to
completely
peanut butter.
agree.
So when kids go back to their mansions and drop the candy out of their pillowcases, what are
Man, you were calling
Like,
me
it
out
was-
last time. All right. We got some beef. I'm gonna beat him up after. It's fine. So my number one, I'm not even gonna rank it out of. This is
Just
not
top three.
Wonder Woman, just top three, no particular order. And I don't even like this candy that much. But like,
What?
No. But on Halloween, this
It's my
was
top
like
three,
one of
but
my
I don't like
favorite.
this candy. That doesn't make any sense.
No, I don't like it that much. But on Halloween, this was like the go-to. You know what I mean? For Halloween specifically, I don't eat this on a regular. But like Halloween, like this was the move. Like the little nerds boxes, I love those things. The tiny little box, the cardboard
the
boxes full of
stupidest
nerds.
ones.
They're great. I love them.
The aquarium gravel looking candy?
Yeah, 100%.
Aquarium
100%.
gravel.
You know what I'm talking about?
I'm
When you go
also-
to somebody's
I'm
house, they have
also-
the blue and pink
I'm also-
aquarium rocks, and you're like, you got nerds in there?
Hey, Sour Patch me. I'm also going with Sour
Here.
Patch Kids. I appreciate it.
Listen,
My production team isn't there, so
do you know those the cereals in the bags at the store, the cheaper ones? I bet you the cheaper version of Nerds is was it fish gravel, fish tank gravel, aquarium
I can see
gravel candy. All right,
y'all such haters for no
Oh
reason.
my
Man.
God.
Graham, what was your third?
My third one.
Sugar free.
You know what? I gotta go like the fun size Milky Ways.
Gosh, Graham.
Milky Way is just a Snickers waiting to grow up.
Look, I don't like I think that Milky Ways are objectively better than Snickers because Snickers doesn't have nougat and nougat's good.
Snickers does have nougat. That's like
Does
their
it?
whole thing. It's nougat, caramel, peanuts, chocolate.
Well, I don't like peanuts.
You
I'm
don't
allergic.
wait peanuts?
Are you allergic?
I just ate 2 Reese's.
I was gonna say
Reese's.
Reese's.
Whatever.
No, you're
Um,
definitely not allergic. Like
I'm definitely not allergic. But
You've gotten whiter. Is that you're not going to the gym anymore, Graham?
I will say the
Halloween
Milky
season, bro.
Way Midnight that I think only comes out in the tiny little fun size Halloween
are good.
bags
Those are
are fire. Like those slap so hard. But if you offered me a Milky Way or a Snickers, I would take the Snickers every time. And then get 3 Musketeer bars out of here. Like where's the just nougat? No, thank you.
I would never eat a full size 3 Musketeers bars. That's like disgusting. I don't mind the fun size. Like I'll eat them. Like they're all right. Just because it's like in such
They do have
small
the
doses.
softest nougat compared to Milky Way and Snickers, which maybe is because there's no caramel.
Welcome to.
Look,
We're
guys,
Getting insulted here, man.
I am a
I'm
big fat guy, and
fighting
I have
for my
thought a lot
life.
about the candy that I enjoy.
Welcome to
Look, if
Candy
we want to do
Connoisseurs.
if we want to do protein shake flavor rankings, I
No.
guarantee I'm gonna come out
Get out
stronger
of
than
here.
everybody here.
Synthesis vanilla
But-
ice cream.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
my
So,
good.
top 3 candies. If I'm dropping the pillow, it's gonna be Snickers is gonna be in there. I got it. The Snickers
Suck
classic.
up. Come on. You weren't gonna say
How's
that.
How's that sucking up?
They just came out
Because
with
Jeff
a
just said it was awesome.
pecan Snickers. That's phenomenal.
I bet it would be almond Snickers.
The
is
almond
good
Snickers
too.
super good. Almond
Almond-
M&Ms
I love
also good.
almond.
Oh, you're right. Yep. Peanut M&Ms is number 2 for me.
My guy.
Peanut
That's
M&Ms.
the best M&M.
See, look at us, Graham. That's not sucking up. That's just called good palate that you don't have.
This guy with this pepperoni only pizza probably.
Absolutely not,
Ketchup
man.
on everything.
Give me sausage and green
Ketchup and
chili.
cheeseburger
So-
only.
Did all the
He
did all
puts
the
mustard on his hot dogs,
did all
too,
the
probably.
protein shakes
I mean,
and
ketchup.
creatine burn your taste buds off?
They definitely did.
Can I get to number 3, Bryce?
Sorry.
Gosh dang it. This is a big one at Skittles.
We're swinging. Oh, okay. All right. Not terrible. Not terrible.
Have you had the freeze-dried Skittles?
Yes.
They're so good.
Freeze dried. You should sell it in the cafe. Freeze dried stuff.
I'll
That's-
try.
It's like hotcakes.
They're so good.
Speaking of hotcakes, where are the hotcakes in the cafe?
We don't have them anymore.
I had one of those
Get
cinnamon rolls. Those are
get
gas.
the yeah. It was, well, you can't have it because it's not gluten free, I guess.
What is the best item on the Hills Cafe menu if anybody was to go? What's the secret item? Just
Like
kidding, we don't have secret items.
Breakfast or lunch?
Oh. Lunch? Lunch. What's a lunch item that like people have to get?
So we did a lot of work on all these. So
Mhm.
I will say they're all good. If I was going to go to the cafe right now and get lunch, I would get the Big Pig, which is
Don't call me that again, dude.
well, I am a big pig when I eat it. It's the half pound of bacon BLT,
Oh my gosh.
and then you pay $2 extra and get double meat, so it's a pound of bacon with lettuce and tomato and a house-made peppercorn shallot ranch on fresh baked chili cheese bread.
Wow.
It's amazing.
Chili cheese bread. I bet it's delicious.
It's super good. We have gluten-free bread. You can sub gluten-free bread for
It's
anything.
not chili cheese gluten-free bread.
It's not. We looked at the gluten-free bread at the place we buy most of our bread, but
Yeah.
they aren't a certified gluten-free
It
facility.
makes no sense to me.
And I was like, can't do it. I was like, if somebody comes in and we give them gluten-free bread and they
Yeah.
get Montezuma's revenge and spend the next 3 days on the
That's
toilet,
true.
like, there's no way. There's no way.
Yeah. What about for breakfast though? Because I eat there a lot for breakfast.
Eggs.
So I'm a big fan of the avocado toast.
Okay.
Really good.
That's
super
spooky.
simple.
That's spooky.
That's
The
terrifying.
I personally think so. It's crazy. Like my favorite breakfast sandwich is on the menu is the 2-egg breakfast sandwich, but it's because it is a copy of a sandwich that I used to get all the time back in Michigan.
Oh,
And it was just like my go-to.
what's the sauce?
And so it's the one that we do here is 2 fried eggs, ham, tomato, Italian seasoning, cheddar cheese, and a sun-dried tomato mayonnaise
that does sound good.
on grilled sourdough.
We missed our chance to do the Krabby Patty.
Um,
We could have had a shot at it.
I don't know if we would have got the licenses for that one, but
the Space Jam is probably the big crowd pleaser though for breakfast.
Space Jam.
what is it? What is it?
It's bacon, fried egg, cheddar cheese, and jalapeno blackberry jam.
What's the Space Jam part of it?
the
We
jam.
just- 'cause of the
blackberry
jam.
jam.
We had to
Where's the
name
space
all the
come from?
sandwiches so fast, dude. We were like, we got to get this menu printed. We got to name all these. And so we were just like, there's Jam, Space Jam.
Somebody
There
was
it is.
watching the
Na-
LeBron movie.
Nailed it.
Submit it.
No, it's definitely the Michael Jordan.
Okay, good. I hate.
Don't
I hate
sue
the
us,
LeBron.
Warner Brothers.
So number one tip for Halloween: stuff all your candies with razor blades. And then check for them. Make sure to unwrap every candy and check for razor blades. I say that as a light joke, but
Also, if your
seriously.
kid came home last year with just a single pig in a blanket, sorry.
What?
We had our Halloween party with our Hills group last
Ran
year,
out of candy. Giving
and I was like, everybody just bring your favorite appetizer, and Olivia's favorite is pigs in a blanket. So I made a ton of mini pigs in a blanket, and halfway through the night, one of the people in my group was like, "Wouldn't it be funny if we just gave a trick or treater a pig in a blanket?" And I was like, "Yeah, but don't." And then they did, like they just gave like a 4-year-old like a handful of candy, and inside of it was just like a raw pig in a blanket, just like not just
I'm
in there.
I'm sure that
greasy.
didn't freak out the parent.
Oh, I know. I was like, you just like it. It depends heavily on the parent, right? But if your kid came back and they dumped their candy out, and there's just a single pig in a blanket, you'd be like, it's all contaminated. No candy.
No candy.
Halloween's ruined.
Listen.
So if that happened to you, I'm sorry.
Do you know who needs to go to the inferno? Whoever hands out the carrots and the toothbrushes.
I completely agree.
The dentist?
Do you-
Oh wait, never mind. Don't the dentists give out the best candy?
I love our
Either
dentist
toothbrushes
here.
or
Do
like
they?
full size.
Well, I
Candy
heard
bar.
I heard a rumor that dentists and dental assistants give out the best candy,
so that
they
you
can-
have to come.
so that you have to go to the dentist.
Bryce, well, you just debunked everything we're talking about. We're talking about having our facts straight. You can't just put out a rumor on a Christian pocket. This ain't conspiracy Christians, okay? This is facts.
Gossip. Come on.
when you
That's a
when you were a
sin.
kid, did you ever go to a house and you trick or treat and they're like, oh, here's like 5 pennies wrapped in a little Ziploc bag?
No, what's the point of that?
I don't know. There was an old lady in the neighborhood that we trick or treated as kids, and
Oh, man.
like she would always give out, like those sandwich bags that don't zip, that just like
Yeah.
she would put like 5 pennies into a sandwich bag, and she would tie a little knot in it, and that's what you would get.
Did she think that was like dinner and a show or something? Like
What?
Do you want
I don't
your
know.
penny?
But she did.
Dinner and a
That's
show.
insane.
Like
Well,
that's
because like
what
even
she
for
always
back in the
gave
day,
out.
man, we could 5 pennies. You could get a dinner and like that's like. Did she think that was what that was? Like you're
I-
getting a steak in a movie theater?
Like,
for,
did she
for
not
5
understand
pennies?
the economy and
Exactly.
inflation?
Did she not understand
Maybe.
the concept of inflation?
I will say I'm old enough that there were stores that sold penny candy, so maybe that was what she
That's
was
probably
thinking.
what I was thinking.
But it, like I remember it feeling like, don't give me an errand. Don't be like, oh, if you want your candy, you have to go to the store.
Listen, this is why you had to get out of Michigan quickly. That's some weird
That's
stuff,
terrifying.
dude. That's some spooky stuff.
If I got like a bag of 2 quarters, I would freak out. I
Here-
would. Yeah.
Here's the thing, which and you brought it up, people handing out candy. There's a person in my neighborhood growing up that would always go all out for Halloween. They would always have they would dress up, and I'm pretty sure it was like his son. They're all older, and they would be interactive. On the driveway, there'd be this like person, like kind of like freaky, kind of walking back and forth, and their house was decorated to the nine, and it was an old family, an old couple, and they would do this every Halloween, and it's for the kids, like it's an experience for teenagers, for the kids. Someone came and wrote 666 all over their garage door, and that was probably like 15 years ago, and you still see the fade of 666 on their garage. I'm like, this is an elderly couple trying to bring alive fun on Halloween, and someone just came and wrote that on their garage. I'm like, that is so sad, man. That is crazy. But like, do you ever see pranks happening anymore for Halloween? Like people smashing pumpkins and
Hey,
or blowing up
that's a
pumpkins
good
and
band.
stuff. Like, do we see those anymore? Is that even a thing? Oh man. So yeah, Bryce dressing up as Michael Myers for Halloween, just scare people. That's biblical. Okay, Bryce.
What's on your
Just
shirt?
kidding. His name is Miguel. He's a very cool dude. He protects babysitters.
Nice.
So hey, on the Halloween spooky day, all the stuff we just talked about, Pastor Jeff, what are some thoughts? What are some things that are maybe some encouragement to people during this time of year, or anything at all that you'd like to share that's maybe just pressing your mind that you'd like to know?
What a good question. Now I feel like I'm on the spot and I have to say something really profound and deep.
I'll say some weird things so you can get there. Loaded baked potato, loaded question, loaded.
You okay, dude?
I'm trying to buy time.
No, I appreciate it. You know,
Uh,
I honestly feel like we've hit so much of it. You know that where we're at right now with Halloween, it's just come so far from what it started as
Yeah.
to where it is now. And again, like whether it started as like a devil worship night or even as a Christian holiday, like it's turned into this whole cultural thing that I think has pieces of all of that.
mhm.
And you get to pick and choose what pieces you want to say yes to and cut the rest of that out.
Yeah.
But, again, and especially once you have kids, like for me, it's a fun way for my kids to enjoy their friends.
Mm.
And it's a way, and then even being gospel oriented, like it's a great way for us to engage with the people in our neighborhood.
Mhm.
I have a strong conviction that we should be engaging with the people around us and not just people in the church. And so it's a way for me to have conversations with people who maybe I wouldn't normally. Again, at the end of the day, like what you're convicted of is what you're convicted of. And you have to navigate through that, and you have to be God honoring in your decisions. But in the same way, I think, again, to say that this is where I'm at, so this is where everyone else has to be at, I don't know if that makes sense. And I know the pushback for that is, well, iron sharpens iron, and we're supposed to hold each other accountable. And I get that, but I think in that you have to have a relationship, and you have to meet people where they're at with the thing that God is convicting me of in my life right now is going to be different than the thing that God is convicting Graham of in his life right now. And for me to say, this is what God is convicting me of, and so you have to be convicted of the same thing for the same reasons, doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
You
We're different
know.
people, man. I'm not Jeff.
We are. And again, that I don't want to take the reality of sin out of anything. Because sin is sin, but man, it's so hard, because I think in a lot of places you'd get like kicked out of church for saying this, but again, for me, 5 years ago there were things that I didn't consider sin because I wasn't being convicted of, that now for me I won't do because I'm like, oh man, that's not what God has for me. And it's not like a white knuckle behavior management, like I just got to power my way through holiness. It genuinely is this, like, God, what is your best for me? What are you saying to me? And how do I take that and apply it to my life? And how do I look through the lens of faith at everything that I'm doing holistically and not let one thing be impacted by my faith and let another thing not be touched by my faith, or let another thing that I perceive to be faithful color my view of faith just because it has Christian undertones or Christian roots or any of that. Again, you have to know what you believe and you have to know why. And the only place you're going to do that is by engaging and diving deep into the Word of God and asking Him for discernment and wisdom as you're reading. What does He have for you? Right? Like the Word of God is living and active. And I can read a verse today that I've read 100 more times. It's going to speak differently to me today. Praise God, because of the Holy Spirit, because of where He's brought me and the things that He's doing in my life. And when it comes to Halloween or anything that could be controversial, what is God saying to you about it? And then what are you going to do about it? And maybe in 10 years, I'm going to watch this podcast back and I'm going to be like, oh, now I'm in a place where I don't celebrate Halloween. But I don't know. I don't think I'll get there. But 5 years ago, when I sat down to watch Fight Club, I didn't think, oh man, in 5 years, I'm not going to watch this movie because of the way that, like, spiritually I felt convicted about it. And I don't know. But that is the journey of faith, more like Christ tomorrow than we were today. And you should lean into that and celebrate that, but not hold anyone else to the standard of where your journey is compared to where theirs is.
Yeah.
Come on. I love that. Pastor Jeff, thank you.
For sure.
Man, it's been a great conversation. Thank you for that. Thank you for the insight and for the truth of the gospel that we could spread during this time. We don't have to shut it down. We keep going. Be better tomorrow. Be more like Jesus tomorrow. I love that.
For sure.
Thank you for that. And Graham, what do we tell our viewers to do at the end of this episode as we close up? What do you got for us, Bryce? What do you got for us?
Yeah, I'll jump into this real quick. So speaking to, really, this is everybody, but this is my demographic, high schoolers. There's, apart from, Satanism and some of the associations that tend to be with this holiday, it's really easy to dive into sin around this holiday with, some of the things that happen at parties and some of the places you go. This can be a night to, reveal yourself and to consume certain substances and have certain relations and dive into the sin aspect of that. And it's, Pastor Jeff said it, control what you get out of it, right? You got to section yourself off. And whether that's from, the Harry Potter side and the, if you want to section yourself off from that, or whether it's, I'm not going to a Halloween party this year. I'm not going to put myself around these people this year because they're getting rowdy, they're getting wild, they're getting ratchet, and that's not something I want to be a part of because that will lead me to stumble, lead me to sin. And I think it's really important to section yourself off from those environments. Bryce, you got anything, man?
I would also just like to add, use this holiday to your advantage. Like what Jeff was talking about, his neighbor. Use the ability to, we're able to come together for this holiday and maybe interact with people that we don't normally interact with, but use it to explain like what you believe in. What are your thoughts on Halloween? And use it to maybe inspire people to also join faith. I don't believe personally that Halloween is a sinful holiday. I believe that some people turn it into a sinful holiday.
Yeah.
But I think you can also do the same thing with Christmas.
Yeah.
But use the opportunity that you are being given to spread the word however you can or however God is, or in whatever way God is putting on your chest. But don't treat the opportunity that you're given as not worth it or as a time to, let loose and do what the world wants you to do. Continue to live for God, continue to live for Jesus, and continue to bring others to Him.
Can I add like two things onto that?
Go for it.
First, Bryce, you have a very calming, pleasant voice.
Thank you.
It's great. Keep doing what you're doing. Second, I think in the midst of that, when we talk about Halloween being a gospel opportunity, what I would push is the gospel is about relationship.
Yep.
And so I'm not advocating for like a track that says like you're going to hell because you celebrate Halloween or
Yeah.
any of that.
That's what I was getting.
Because those are it removes relationship from the gospel.
Yep.
And I'm not saying people haven't been saved by a track, but I'm saying like I think it does less than you think it will.
Yeah.
What I mean by that is, again, meet people where they're at and have conversation and build rapport with them and engage with them and earn the right to speak life and Jesus into their lives. Because I think we want to jump right to, do you know Jesus? And they should know Jesus, but it takes time to get there.
Mhm.
And Halloween is an amazing way for you to engage with the people around you and build those relationships to be able to speak the powerful message of Jesus Christ into their lives.
I love that. Come on. So number 1, know why you believe and what you believe. Stand firm on that. Number 2, Halloween nowadays, it's dressing up, it's getting candy. And 3, if there's things that don't sit with you, it doesn't mean it doesn't sit well. Like it doesn't sit the same with others. So just be cautious of that. Love people well.
Mm-hmm.
And man, this is great conversation. Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you for watching. Thank you for clicking play. Share. Smash that what?
Like button.